All right. Warframe has an FPS problem. Kitty. Kitty again.
All right, this will help the audio sync up. All right, that's perfect. Hey, quick disclaimer. I don't usually make these kind of videos. My content is usually just funny builds, and then getting messaged by DE telling me not to make funny builds.
Really?
Anyway, I hope you enjoy. Bye-bye. Love you. Kisses.
Oh, wait, what? What'd that say? What does screen say?
I hope you enjoy. Bye-bye. Love you. Kisses.
Don't ban me. DEISTG. I don't know what any of this means. Uh, I have the power of Ritalin directly in my veins. Don't test me. Please don't. Please, 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 please. Okay. What? Okay, this video is not a guide and is not meant to be and is meant for educational purposes only. It does not violate the game EULA. It does not attempt to be a probe, scan or test its vulnerability, breach. Okay. Thank you. What's the FPS problem?
I have a lot to say in this video, so let's start from the top. Warframe is a third-person looter shooter.
Right?
You kill enemies and they drop resources.
Yeah, bro, I love fucking Warframe. Warframe is boom right there. Like, I love fucking Warframe, dude. What is wrong with Warframe?
Simple concept. Now what if I told you there is something that maybe only 1% or less of players know about that completely changes the game?
Oh,
What if I told you Warframe has an FPS problem?
what?
Frame rate, or frames per second, is the frequency at which images or frames are displayed at a given time. If
Okay.
you have high FPS, the game looks smoother, and if you have low FPS, the game looks choppier.
Right?
And I know I'm gonna have people saying, but it's not like it changes the game, who cares?
Bro, I hate people that like make this argument. It's like as soon as, I mean, understandably, I mean, I don't like, I'm a casual when it comes to Warframe. I don't have like any like primes. I'm still like chewing through like the story. I mainly just play it like with my other buddy who has like hundreds of hours invested into it, and I'm just like, oh, okay, hey man, is there any other games to play? No. Okay, let's just go back to Warframe because the movement and general gameplay, the game loop of Warframe feels so fucking good. My buddy told me this one time. It's like every third person shooting game or any third person game that's like kind of actiony, they will always have their movement compared to Warframe because Warframe just does it the best. There is so much freedom and movement you have in Warframe with like the slide jumps, the bullet jumps, the air slowdown time and all that bullshit, the wall running, the back and forth wall running. You can like just run straight up a wall, like bullet jump off, and just like the movement, it is just so freaking awesome. And like every third person game will always be compared to Warframe. And I don't care that it's like a gotcha game or it's just like pay to win. It's like, who cares? But the fact that, I mean, I don't even know what you're gonna say, but like frames do matter, whether you like it or not, in your FPS game. Because I mean, and this is especially more true for M&K than I would say controller, because if you play, I mean, does Warframe probably supports controller, right? But I couldn't imagine playing Warframe on a controller because like playing on a controller is just, to me, it feels so restrictive. But 100%, like at least for like M&K gameplay, when you have more game or frames and your game looks smoother, it's gonna play different.
About FPS. We'll get to that, but before we do, we need to talk about what is a log file. A log file is typically used by software or operating systems to keep track of events that occur. Warframe is no different. Everything you do, every event that happens or is going to happen is, as the name suggests, logged in this file. Everything happens here. And if you make an input that interacts with an object, say shooting an enemy, that event is logged. Same with moving, same with enemies spawning, and sometimes even how they spawn. And this is the part where I put a disclaimer so DE doesn't atomic drop my nuts. Do not open, save, modify, or share your log file. Your log file contains extremely sensitive information such as IP,
Okay.
MAC address, hardware information, and a lot more. Okay, I'm done explaining all the technical stuff. Now let's
Okay.
get to what really matters.
A link.
What's the connection between FPS and your log file? Well, this is the update rate of a typical log file slowed down. You see how it's updating constantly?
Yeah.
Now look what happens here. The update rate looks erratic and inconsistent. What changed? In the first example, the FPS was at a steady 144, and in the second example, it's at a steady 30 FPS.
Okay.
So what can we conclude from this? Even if we forget what's physically in the log file, we can determine that the update rate of the game is proportional to your frame rate, meaning the game processes events at the rate of your FPS. So now, after all that, we finally get to, in simple terms, more FPS equals more game updates. More game updates means faster inputs. An increased fire rate cap.
Oh, this is news to me. This is like one of the few games. This is hilarious to hear. This is probably like one of the few games where having the better, what do you call it? Like computer, it like actually is like a pay to win thing. Oh my God, this is so funny. I mean, I kind of benefit. I have like some like 2080 computer thing. It's like, it used to be good when I first made it like 5-6 years ago, but not so much. Like, you know, it's not a fucking 4080 or whatever, 4090, whatever is like the new one. But like I kind of, and like and it's not even it's not even based off of the well, the tower has to support the monitor, but there are monitors out here in the FPS world that are like upwards of like 500 hertz refresh rate. And I couldn't imagine playing Warframe on one such monitor where there is I guess a significant 95 hits versus 110 hits. Okay, I would say this is like probably like the general average monitor, like 144 hertz. But this is just hilarious to me to hear and see this, because it shouldn't be like this, because I like benefited from it a little bit. But this is just hilarious to me. Wait, there has to be like, you gotta do a test with like some like, what's the 500 hertz refresh rate monitor? It's I don't think it's like a BenQ thing. It's like something like all the CS bros use the 500 hertz monitor.
And faster hit registration.
God dang.
And more importantly, it means more enemy spawns, which in turn means more resources. I think.
Oh, it's just more everything. Okay, it's not just, it's more power for the player, but it's also harder for. Wait. So how does that translate when you have like other players? Like in a party. Bro. This is so like revealing to me. This is so funny. Cuz like I got like a 244 hertz monitor, and whenever I go and play Warframe, I think I just play it at like 244 hertz, or I forgot if it, I don't remember if there's like an uncapped option for frames. But oh my God, I wonder if I have ever played with my buddy and he's like, wow, these missions seem like so much harder for some reason. There's just so many more enemies and I'm doing oddly more damage. I wonder if I've actually like had that instance and I just didn't pay it any mind. Oh my God.
You know where I'm getting at. If you have more FPS, you're fine. But if you have bad FPS, the worse your update rate is and everything becomes unstable. But
yeah, this seems like dog shit.
But if you think that only high FPS gives you an advantage, you'd be wrong.
Oh.
Because what happens, it's something that needs a lot of game updates to work, suddenly stops working.
Uh-oh.
Let's say maybe a sort of harm limiting.
What? Fragmented
And I
one?
think I'm going to stop there because even though this has been said in multiple YouTube videos and plastered all over Reddit, I genuinely don't feel comfortable talking about stuff like this because DE has made discussing anything they don't understand into a minefield. And honestly, I already feel like I got a target on my back, so I'm just going to move on to the next topic.
Oh,
And by
okay.
the way, if you think this is bad, just wait because
It gets worse.
Warframe works a little differently than other online games because, to my knowledge, it doesn't have a hard-coded tick rate. I'll try to break it down. The
Oh,
host player has the main log file, and
uh-huh.
other players' games are updated entirely based on that information.
Oh, okay. So what if the host has like a 500 hertz monitor? This is just like super giga hard mode, and everybody else is just like, oh my god, wow, this is just way harder than average. And they're just sitting there scratching their heads like, why the fuck is this so hard? Or like, what if the host is like, has like some like 60 hertz monitor? Everyone else is going, just joining in on like the 60 hertz monitor, dude. And they're just like, oh wow, what the fuck? This is like way easier than I remember. Why is that?
And the time it takes for those two files to communicate is referred to in-game as ping. It's
Okay.
a sort of pseudo peer-to-peer system. This means if the host has worse FPS, they're locked to the host update rate. Everyone's game is...
Oh, Jesus Christ. So if this dude at 55, everybody else at 55 FPS? Ew.
going to feel much worse. This also means that anyone playing as host can just grief their lobby by intentionally setting their frame rate lower, or unintentionally by having older hardware.
Yeah.
There are some obvious solutions to this, but they require some thought and
Well, yeah, there's some obvious solutions. Yeah, just go work your job a little bit more and then just go buy a better monitor. Easy fix, dude.
commitment. Either make a stable update rate so that FPS doesn't influence the game as much,
Yeah.
or the more expensive idea, which I don't think is going to happen, would be to finally kill off the 2010s peer-to-peer type model and
Oh, Jesus. The peer-to-peer. Bro, one of the games I think that does this isn't it like Call of Duty used to do this? I don't know if they still do it, but Jesus Christ, that was like the worst. Like if you'd be like running behind a wall or a piece of cover and you would think that you would be behind a piece of cover, but then the dude shoots you, you'd be like, oh my god, that guy killed me behind a wall. That's the type of shit that is like just super frustrating.
have actual dedicated servers for lobbies, even solo lobbies. Because you know what happens when FPS is linked to the update rate of the game? That system gets abused and torn apart. You wanna know what boosts FPS? Looking at a wall, not loading geometry. Players are rewarded for either having the most FPS or by manipulating the game to get more or less FPS. It's really up to the E to decide what to do.
Jeez.
And that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching.
Bro, I had no idea that was a thing in Warframe. Bro, when I go back and play that shit, because I know like what kind of monitor my buddy has, and it's not bad, but like mine's a little better. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I got the host, man. Let's just join in on me. And it's gonna be like, okay.
This is probably a one-off video, and if I don't get banned, I will go back to making funny thumbnails and video builds. Big thanks to Nova Umbral for helping out with the video script, because I cannot write, and honestly, I hope this doesn't sound as bad as I think.
No, it sounded fine, dude.
I hate scripted videos. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.
No, this was fine.
See ya.
Okay. This is like, what other game has done something like this where it's like more frames equals more damage and more enemies, and it's also it locks like all your little buddies that like come in and want to play. I don't think has there been another game that has done something like this? This is hilarious, dude. But no, I'm a fan. I like it. I dig it. I mean, maybe Warframe will fix this in the future, but I don't know, man. This is just funny to me. But no, it was cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else you got, dude, for sure. But thanks for the update, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.